The Steven Universe movie sucked. Now hold on, before you start commenting, I want you to know I like Steven Universe. I've watched it since probably March of 2018. I got in kinda late, but I caught up, and honestly, the show as a whole is pretty good. The movie was not. I'm gonna break this up into 4 sections so this doesn't get way too confusing and complicated, but knowing me, it's probably gonna get that way anyway, so... Okay, normally I don't like to focus on the writing of a show, but Steven Universe's writing is bad. You might think it's good, but it's not. Your opinion is wrong. Because unlike most shows that have a team of writers, Steven Universe is written entirely by the storyboard team. And while I have not made sure if that's the case for the Steven Universe movie, it seems on par with the rest of the show. You see, there's around 6 to 8 storyboard artists, I believe, working on Steven Universe. So you might think that collectively, they'd be able to come up with a cohesive story, be able to comprehensively storyboard shots with emotions in mind, but no. In the words of a great YouTuber, they write like people who have never taken a basic writing class. Which makes sense, because if you actually rewatch it with that in mind, the show is not as good as you think. But getting away from the show, you might be asking, Mask-senpai, what do you think about the movie's writing? And it's alright. It's not great. It's not horrible by any means, but it's not great. So in this section particularly, I'm going to focus on the characters. Character 1. Steven. He's written like he's normally written, except for once he's selfish. Ooh! Looks like for once character development didn't help. Garnet. For most of the movie, she's her, original cotton candy form. However, she's written differently. In Season 2, the episode The Answer, we see Garnet's first form for the first time. Writing that character versus writing the character for the movie, clearly there was 2 different writers. Exactly why, instead of leaving the writing up to the storyboard team, you should just leave it up to a team of writers who know the characters. Pearl. Pearl is written probably better. You might be thinking, well, what do you mean? She wasn't completely dying over Rose every 20 seconds. That's why she's written better than normally. You see, Pearl constantly lusting over Rose got annoying after probably the 2nd episode. So finally, all she has to do is sing a song, and she's done. And the song's at the beginning of the movie. So, I was happy with that. Amethyst. Amethyst is probably the 2nd best written character in the film, at least from my point of view. She has some great lyrics from the song, we finally get to see her first form, and she actually is trying to save Steven and not let him die constantly. Peridot. Now, the other Crystal Gem trio, Bismuth, Lapis, Peridot, they have almost no lines in this film, but Peridot is probably just the same old Peridot. She's mostly there for comic relief, and she gives us some exposition. Lapis. Lapis is written completely different than normally, and, I don't know why, but she's more helpful than usual. Bismuth. Bismuth is written better than normal, because she has more than one sentence to say. I get it, the Crewniverse does not have the budget to pay Uzo Aduba, but maybe give her more than one sentence in a row? Just perhaps. Spinel. The villain of the movie is Spinel, as we all kinda knew because Cartoon Network accidentally leaked their stuff again, whoopsie daisy. And she's definitely the best written character in the film. They really thought about her backstory, and it shows because she's probably the most threatening villain we've had in the entire show. And you might be thinking, what about Yellow Diamond? That's simple. She wasn't a threat. You might be thinking she was a threat. But no, if Steven can talk her down in 1 minute, then no, that's not a villain. Spinel has some great abilities, and to be honest, she's probably one of my favorite characters already. I don't want to say that because the movie came out as of recording this, 3 days ago. But she's pretty darn great, and if you follow me on Instagram, Mask Animations, you can see a lot of Spinel fan art. So, yeah. The animation isn't that important to me. In most shows, movies, whatever it is, I don't care about the animation. More or less, I guess, the story and how the characters can play out through the animation. However, for the movie of Steven Universe, you might think, wow, maybe they'll get an actual animation team to properly animate it. Maybe since they're getting different storyboarders, they could make it professional looking. But nope, it's on the same quality as the show, and you could have had Spinel bouncing up and down like she does in a lot of scenes, but for most of the scenes, she's legit just standing still. And in the other half, she's just bouncing all over the place. That's not how you make a character. You can't just have her bouncing all over the place and then the very next scene, just sitting. And don't you dare, in the comments, tell me, oh, well, Spinel was sitting because blah, 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 Tumblr, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It's called literally just taking the select tool and slightly moving her up and down. The storyboarders only had to do that. The story of the movie was pretty good. Not great, but it was pretty good. There's a clear lack of tension for the injector because there's nothing ever about it except when they go to the injector. Steven fuses with Greg. He reincarnates the gems in the span of a minute? And then he's like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to be worried. Steven Universe in general just has this problem, a lack of tension constantly. And the cluster arc, which many people bring up, has a distinct lack of tension for there being a earth-destroying cluster baking in the Earth's core, and no one seems to care. Peridot cares, but don't worry, she doesn't need to care anymore because the Earth is beautiful. Hey, if you want the Earth to stay beautiful, maybe try saving it for once. But other than that, the story's okay. It's not great, it's not bad, it's just okay. They really nailed it on Spinel's backstory, and afterwards all I could think was, man, Pink Diamond was such a female dog. To be honest, Spinel definitely deserved revenge, but who cares, because we can redeem her, and now she's the new Pink Diamond according to the other diamonds. Whoop-de-doo, we fixed every single thing. There's also some random bits put in the story that make no sense. Why is the chest in Lion's Mane open now for some reason when the fans have been asking what's inside it for the last 6 years? Why did Lars' head not explode when Steven kicked out of it? If Garnet can see every possible future, why did she tell Steven to take the warp when he could have fallen to his death? Why can Garnet's future vision not tell Steven to say no when Spinel asks if he's Steven Universe and then bada bing bada boom, the movie's done? Why can Garnet's future vision not protect them from getting destroyed with the Rejuvenator? Why does Garnet's future vision never seem to work except when it's plot convenient? Just minor inconveniences like that. I rate this movie a solid 6.5 out of 10.